see. No. No. Okay. Yes. Now, now I'm. My face is on the screen. Hi. Welcome to this live stream. The topic is the trauma bond, what it is, and how to break it. So let's see if we will get some people to join. I think we'll start to talk and we'll see if they will drop in. This is, well, it's an important topic, the trauma bond. And it can be quite hard to understand. And even when you understand it, it feels very difficult to break. It's not something that you just decide to break. It's a bond that actually exists in your neurological and hormonal systems. So I will come to what it is, what is creating the bond. But let's start with how it feels. So a while ago, I watched an interview with Rebecca Humphreys on Dr. Ramani's channel. What is that one called? It's not the normal regular channel. It's the Surviving Narcissism, I think. She does interviews with people who have been through abusive relationships. And Rebecca Humphreys was in a narcissistic relationship. And she's not talking about the trauma bond, but she is describing this feeling of being pushed out of a building by this guy, but then he is also the one who catches her right before she hits the ground. And that feeling of being like when he catches her in his arms, that feels amazing. So that is something that you might recognize if you have been trauma bonded. That horrible sinking feeling when they are pulling away or abusing you. Anxiety, fear, sadness. I could almost feel a bit desperate, like not being able to get through, being misunderstood, being hurt. But then after all of that, like after having hit another low, then it would turn to him catching me and me being in his arms once again, and things feeling amazing, and that anxiety going away, and the feeling of relief. So the typical feelings in the trauma bond is that switch from anxiety to relief. So if you have a lot of those feelings in your relationship, that's not good. When they are pulling away slightly, and you get immediately that anxious feeling, wondering what you did, when they are silent treatmenting you, not speaking with you, and you're feeling at fault, feeling anxious, and then eventually things turn and things are better again, and you feel relieved. So yes, they really love me, and now everything is fine, and you get hope that it can continue like this. And you try harder to keep the relationship going. And more of your feelings are dictated by this person. So how they are treating you, and what mood they are in, and if they are withdrawing from you, treating you harshly or being irritated, then you will feel bad. And if they are closer to you, then you will get like, it's not just the normal feelings of being comfortable around a person. It's relief and happiness. So that is also not normal, to get extremely happy when someone says something nice to you, or if they're not criticizing you for the entire day, and you're ecstatic. So the trauma bond is this hijacking, you can say, of your emotions. And so you're no longer reacting normally to this person. And that's the bond. So when they are treating you poorly, being mean, like the normal reaction would be to be sad and perhaps a bit angry, or you want to withdraw from them. But when you are in this bond, then even though they are treating you that way, you still hope that they will come and hug you. That's not the normal reaction to someone just having treated you very poorly. So the trauma bond is, I just described those feelings that you will feel when you're in that bond. And it's sort of, it overrides logic. So even in the end of my relationship, I was with my ex-husband for 21 years. And then when I separated from him and tried to break free and try to stay Hoover-proof, then I knew that I couldn't be around him, especially I didn't want to be around him while I was alone, because I was also scared of him. But there was another reason, because I knew that I wouldn't be able to resist him if he would turn on that charm, because I was so affected by that. So yes, it overrides logic, and it's feelings that you cannot logically explain why you are so drawn to this person. And because we can't explain it, we might think that, well, it must really be meant to be. We must be soulmates or twin flames, or we are meant to be together. I really love him. I really feel drawn to him. No matter what he does, I still love him. So that love must be really, it must be very special kind of love. When I still feel that those tender feelings towards him, no matter what he does, and I can forgive him for anything. And you think that makes your relationship strong, because the person you're trying to be in a relationship with is not trying to connect with you. They are abusing you if you're getting these feelings and if you're trauma bonded. So even though you are sacrificing a lot to be with them, and you are having very strong feelings of being drawn to them, and they are not trauma bonded to you if you're not abusing them. So I know that I've heard that some narcissists or abuser will say that they are trauma bonded to you and darvo you and try to put the blame back on you, or trying to explain their behavior by being trauma bonded. But that's not true, because a trauma bond is something that is created it is created in the target of abuse, and not any type of abuse. It has to be ups and downs, hot and cold, good periods and bad periods. And it has to be to create a very effective bond, that has to be a bit unpredictable. So throw the target of balance. Like if you can predict what they are doing, you don't get that strong emotional reaction. So I don't know if that's why they are constantly escalating. Might be like if they are purposefully trying to get you to. I will have to think about that. But there are other reasons why they escalate. But I'm wondering if they know that they will bind you to them when they are abusing you. Interesting thought. But yeah, have to save it for later. Can't just sit there and think. Okay, but that trauma bond is created when you are subjected to cyclical abuse. Your system is learning that this person is very, very important for your well-being. Your brain is learning that in order for you to feel okay, to do fine, you have to keep this person happy, you have to be close to them. Your brain doesn't know that you can walk away. Apparently, you are not walking, like they are part of your reality and your brain is trying to deal with it. And because they are such a large part of your reality, and because they are dictating how you're feeling, your brain is trying to keep you safe by making sure that you think a lot about them, making sure that you try to stay on their good side. And so when I was trauma bonded to my ex-husband, it was constantly on my mind, especially the last 7 years, I was constantly thinking about him. And even after the separation for at least a year, I was constantly thinking about him, even though we were no contact, like what he was doing or things that he had said or why did he do that. And I think that's also part of the trauma bond. So the thought pattern, constantly trying to relate, like what will he say about that, or try to predict things that they might do or prevent conflicts and so on. Okay, so I will this live. I will only show one image, and it's this one. Let's see. Maximum. Oh, I can't move my face. No. Not that. No. See, I'm sorry. I'm still playing around with this. Like that. Okay, but we'll have to do. So this is the abusive cycle. It's the typical pattern that you will see in an abusive relationship. And I've talked a bit more, I've talked about this cycle before, where I go into it a bit more detailed. But basically, when you're in the narcissistic relationship, we talk about in the big picture, there is the cycle, love bomb, devaluation, discard, and perhaps hoover, and perhaps it will return to the love bomb. But inside of the relationship, it also goes through cycles. So, and it goes through these mini cycles. So the relationship starts off really good with the honeymoon phase. And in the beginning, when you're being love bombed, that phase goes on for quite some time, until you are invested in the relationship and feel safe and feeling close and in love with this person. And then they will do, in the beginning, the bad phases of the abusive cycle is quite short, and they are not very much abusive. They might be a bit colder or withdraw, or perhaps criticize you or say something a bit harsh. And then it turns back to the honeymoon phase and they turn nice again. And then as the relationship progresses, the abusive, like the bad phases gets larger and the abuse gets worse. So the relationship will start with a love bomb, and then there will be like a little dip, and then it goes back to the good phase, and then there will be some dips as you go, and then the dips will get lower and lower, and the abuse will get worse. And this has to do with the trauma bond, because something happens when you go through this cycle. So in the honeymoon phase, and especially when you've gone through the cycle for a while, then what happens with the hormones that we will talk about now, it will have a greater effect on your, like the release of hormones when you have gone through the cycle a few times. So honeymoon phase, you are close, you get release of oxytocin, which is a bonding hormone. It's a hormone that is created when we are close to someone. It's created like when a mother is nursing her baby, oxytocin is involved. It is needed actually to get the milk to release. So this is okay, I think. Sometimes, because I work as a doctor, I lose track of what is acceptable to say without people getting cringy about it. But so the milk is, the baby doesn't suck the milk out of the breast. The milk glands are contracting, so the milk is actually flowing out on its own. And you would have noticed that if you have ever nursed a baby. But in order to get that flow, you have to get oxytocin released. And that's why it doesn't work if you are tense. So just a tangent. But so you're close, you're in the honeymoon phase, oxytocin is released, and dopamine. And dopamine is a rewarding hormone. It is also addictive, and dopamine is involved in a lot of addictions. So those two hormones are the major players in the honeymoon, like they are released in the honeymoon phase. And that's when you feel really high, like when you are trauma bonded. When I was firm, I was going to separate from my husband. I'd seen through his abuse and so on, and still I couldn't. I knew that if we meet each other, if he would try to charm me, I wouldn't be able to resist. Well, that was that addictive part. So it would feel so good to things turning back to good between us, or him being nice. That would feel so amazing. Just like Rebecca Humphrey said, the feeling of being caught by her partner right before, she described this feeling like she was being pushed out of a building by him when he was abusing her, but then he would catch her right before she hit the ground, and that would feel amazing when he caught her in his arms. So that's the addictive. That's the high. That's what you want to get back to when you're in this relationship and when you are bonded. But the relationship never stays in the honeymoon phase, no matter what you do, no matter how hard you try, how much you sacrifice or not try to take up space, or no matter how much you try to understand him or prevent things or do better. No matter what you do, it will turn. So, and that's because of him. It has nothing to do with you. You are in an abusive relationship, and the he doesn't want to stay in the honeymoon phase. So he's not in that relationship to snuggle up with you forever. He has other goals in the relationship, and he doesn't want to do he doesn't want an equal relationship. He doesn't want to do his part. He doesn't want you to feel comfortable. He wants you to be wondering, questioning yourself, feel tense, try harder. And in order for that to happen, the abusive cycle turns. So you go into the tension building phase. He is withdrawing. He is colder, perhaps not like you sense that something is off. You might ask. I asked in the beginning. I did ask a lot, like, "What did I do something? Why? Like, what are you thinking about?" Wondering why. Like, you can sense that something is off, and then they say, "Well, no, nothing. Like, stop worrying. I just have a bad morning temper, or it's just busy at work." Like, they never tell you straight out why they are acting like they are. And sometimes they will blame you, or they might, like, they may not come out and blame you. They may just let you know that you've done something, but they won't speak about it. And this creates anxiety. It creates release of stress hormones, cortisol and adrenaline, for example. Your body is feeling tense. You may not be able to relax fully. You think a lot about past conversations, or you wonder what is wrong. Why are you not enough? Like, why did he change? Like, why did he switch? You were having it so good. This phase is very nerve-wracking. It's horrible to be with, like, believe that you are with a person who loves you, and who you really feel bonded to and drawn to, and then repeatedly having the feeling that you are not worthy, and that you've done something, that you are not enough. So that's a very, like, this sinking feeling, and then comes the blow up. So eventually, like, after they having dragged out and tormented you emotionally through this tension phase, eventually there will be some sort of blow up, and it can be different. Sometimes it is just some verbal abuse, some shouting, them blaming you for something, or you will have a big argument. And after that, you will make up. So you will hash it out, and you think that, well, now we understand each other. This was the problem. I had done something that he was angry about, but now now I know about that, so I will be more careful next time, and hopefully we'll be able to stay in this good and close, like the honeymoon phase. And you get, once again, those addictive feel-good hormones, dopamine and oxytocin. And every turn on this abusive cycle makes that, like, it ingrains this pattern more. So this hormonal pattern in the brain, and that is addictive. And it is almost like, some people say that you are getting into the narcissistic fog, or they were hypnotized. They don't know why they acted this way, or they don't understand why they got so drawn to this person, while in the beginning they didn't even find them attractive. But I think that this the trauma bond is largely behind it, and the trauma bond is created by going through this abusive cycle. So it's almost like if you're like a drug addict, or if you're addicted to something. It can even be, it doesn't have to be a substance. It can be gaming. So if you're addicted to gaming, say, then you are in the honeymoon phase. You have just got some money, and you are now spending it on some, like you're doing that thing that really, it gives you a high. So it gives you a kick of dopamine in the brain, and you're really feeling good, and you are gambling away your money. And then when the money is over, then comes this horrible, like the down phase, anxiety and adrenaline and like stress hormones, and not sleeping and worrying about the economy. But then, and then wanting to get back to that, like the when you got some money, and when you hit the right number on the lottery ticket, that really felt good, and you want to get back to that, and you're constantly thinking about it, and how do I get back to that? How do I get my hands on some money? Like you're thinking about the thing that you are addicted to, and in the trauma bond, you do get addicted to this phase when you are close, and those feel-good hormones are released. So let's see. I will remove this. Yeah, yes. I'm learning the program. Okay. So I know that you're listening to me, and I will just keep talking. But if you want to tell me, or if you have a question about the trauma bond, if you're struggling with breaking one, perhaps, you're welcome to write in the comments. I keep an eye on the comment section. Yes. So something else that happens when you go through this abusive cycle, it is that you learn to connect love and pain. So you learn that in order for you to get loved, you have to accept some pain. You have to accept that you're being treated poorly or abused, and then you will get loved. And you may even make the connection that, like, you have to sacrifice something to gain their love. So you have to repeatedly show them that you're really invested, by giving something up for them, or by forgiving them for something. So it's like the cost is constantly rising. They are constantly demanding more, or blaming you for not being invested enough, or blaming you for being selfish, or for not thinking about them. And you have to show them that that's not true. So you have to sacrifice a little bit more, to get them to give you some kindness. So eventually, when you're really trauma bonded, they will be able to control you, just through a little kindness. So something that you don't want to do, if they play nice with you, then you might accept it because you get so grateful that they are suddenly kind, or loving. And so it's a trick when they are using these it's actually survival mechanisms, that is supposed to keep us safe and to make us drawn to things that makes us feel good, but because this thing that makes us feel good is also making us feel really horrible, we are working very hard to be close to them, but at the same time trying to avoid their anger and their abuse. So it's so tricky that it works this way, and that they are able to do it, like they are able to use it. And I do think that they know, because you may not be the first partner. So if you see that when you enter a relationship with a partner, in the beginning they are independent, but as you move, as you abuse them and then make them believe that it was their fault, then they become less and less independent, and they look more and more to you for cues. So I think that they really like that, and it's horrible to see another human like that. Some people treat animals like that. And I have cats, so they're quite independent. But dogs can be more like, they really crave love. And if you treat them badly, then they will try to adjust more to you. And children, I think, can be very similar. When they are treated harshly, they start to look to the adults like in a way that is not normal for a stable and securely loved child. They will not like if they are a bit, well, babies look to their mother, like, yeah, but when they are a bit older, they are not supposed to constantly look for cues for like from the adults. So that is something that I learned from a child psychiatrist. He said that when we meet a family, and so I look at the kids, if they are able to play, they had some things in that room. If they are able to play a bit when we talk to the parents, that's a good sign. But if they are very anxious and constantly like looking to the adults to see if there is some tension, that's not a good sign. If they are worried, and if they're constantly like checking cues from the adults, yeah, I mean, some parents also like their kids to be insecure in this way, and really long for their approval. So I think that it's not spoken about, but I think that like children can also be trauma bonded. Yes. So I spent a lot of my childhood wishing that my mother would be happy, or that she would be happy with me. Tried very hard to make her happy, and she would give me small crumbs. So that is breadcrumbing. Like, there are so many terms in these relationships, but in a way it is helpful because we will know what we are talking about, so we can compare experiences without having to always explain everything. But if you look at that relationship, and it goes through these cycles, so it's up and down, and mostly like after a while it will be mostly down, and then there are some small ups. Those are breadcrumbs. So when they're giving you a little honeymoon, that's a breadcrumb. So that's helping to keep you hooked, and it's keeping you in the relationship, and it's giving you hope that, well, things can be better, because I see that sometimes it is really good. So it makes you stay and invest more in the relationship. So I think that's why the trauma bond, like it's a leash. When they pull on it, like when they show you some kindness, you get this release of hormones, and very strong feelings of wanting to be close to them, and feeling happy and getting hopeful. And also you stop seeing all the abuse, because you get normalized. So for example, I live in Sweden. It's a developed country. Like I'm sitting at the kitchen table. Behind me, there are some curtains that are like, and we have heating in here, so there is central heating. I don't have to be cold. I have several different items of clothing. I like so much that I take for granted, and I don't think about like my surroundings and feeling happy that I have all these things, because that's normal for me. And we can become normalized to good things or bad things. And when you are in the trauma bonded relationship, you're definitely getting normalized to some bad things. So when you're treated every day like you're a bit of a burden, annoyance, you're not like you are not used to. Oh, hi, hi, Blunit, welcome. Let's see, yeah, talking about the trauma bond. How are you this evening? Or perhaps it's not evening where you are. I'll take a little water break. Okay, so where was I? Was talking about, and yeah, you're well. Okay, great. If you have some questions, just write them. Are you struggling with a trauma bond? Or perhaps you have been. I think I've broken mine completely now. I'm no longer thinking about my ex-husband, and no longer feeling that. Yeah, yes, with my father. Okay, yeah. So you think, like I spoke a bit earlier about, I think that kids can also be trauma bonded, and you feel trauma bonded with your father. Okay, you're in contact with him then, I guess, or. I used to be trauma bonded to my mother. Perhaps that's an area I have to work with a bit. There has been so much. There is a lot to work through when you are breaking contact with several. But my husband was the main trauma bond for me. But during my childhood, oh yes, Daily, you're having contact with him. Okay, so you're feeling trauma bonded to him. So then you're trying to make him happy, feeling affected by his moods. Do you recognize that? Yeah, so we get, as I said, we get what we experience daily. Yes, very much. Okay. Are you living at home, perhaps? Or because you're seeing him daily, you say? Or you're living close together? It's a hard thing to be trauma bonded to a parent. Yes, and I was dealing with this during my childhood, and in my adolescence I tried to break free from it, but those feelings, trying to make my mother happy, being anxious if she wasn't, thinking about like trying to avoid her anger or verbal abuse. Let's see. No, you live in different places. You stopped going to see him, but you speak to him each day on the phone then. Okay, so, and then he is that sounds very draining, actually. I guess, depending on if he's trying to be nice, if he's trying to be nice to you, it can be less draining, but you still feel a lot of expectations underneath, I guess. Okay, we will come to, I'm planning to talk about how to start to break the trauma bond. So that could be helpful for you, I think. But was there something else I should say before? Yeah, I was just mentioning that as you are in these relationships, you get normalized to being abused and treated badly. And then when they are acting nice and it feels really, really good, then that feels like it feels amazing when they are actually just being perhaps decent, or perhaps they aren't that nice. But because you become used to being treated worse and worse. Compared with their normal behavior, it feels like a miracle when they are acting nice. And you're spending a lot of, like, your thoughts are circling around them, especially when you are in contact. So I find it hard, like, it is very hard to break a trauma bond when you are in oh, sorry, I don't know if you heard that. I dropped a pen here. When you are in one of these relationships, when you are in contact with them, I think that you can't fully break the trauma bond. Like, if you have this pattern ingrained in your brain and in your hormonal system, and it is reacting to them, and they are continuing to behave in manipulating ways, and I find it, I think that it will be very hard to break it fully as long as you are in contact, but it can be loosened so you can be less affected. Okay. Let's see. Yes. I'm just looking through my notes to see if there was something else I wanted to say before going into talking about breaking the bond. Yeah, perhaps I could take some examples, like an example of being in a trauma bonded relationship and how it feels. So everything is nice. You are having you're in a good period. He is kind, talking nice, wanting to make you, it feels like they want to make you happy. You are planning to do some things together. And then you do something that sets them off. So they become annoyed, and you have this and you get this feeling like, no, everything was so fine. Like, you start a discussion and it just escalates, and they get angry, and then they blame you for always doing this and only thinking about yourself, and you try to explain yourself, and you may start to cry because it feels so horrible. And then they say that you're always crying and causing drama. This happened to me a lot before I understood what was going on. And then I would try to apologize and want everything to be nice, want everything to be fine again. And he would say horrible, nasty things. And so even though you're getting hurt at this point, they are actually like starting to abuse you verbally, you are still trying to calm them down, and you're still like overlooking their abuse, thinking that even if they're really hurting you, you think that, well, we can make it, like you are trying to forgive them and show them that things can be fine and that you didn't mean it and that you really do love them and that you're really trying hard. And they will, like either way, they will run off and call you a bad word, and it can perhaps take days before you reconcile, after you having apologized. And then things go back to nice for a while. So this is how crazy it can be to be in a trauma bond, when they are really actually behaving like an, yeah, I was going to say a bad word here, but they are nasty and abusive and hurting you. And you are like feeling at fault for it. And you want, like, even though they are hurting you, you're still feeling that like desire to be close to them, and you're still feeling drawn to them or feeling love for them. Okay, so it's a really strong mechanism, and it affects us and affects our behavior and our thoughts and our hormones, and it keeps us bonded in these relationships for a long time. So I have this, let's see, I have saved it. I made a video about the trauma bond. I think it's called like 5 steps to break the trauma bond, if you want to watch that. So I actually saved this little paper where I wrote the steps. So, and I think that you can start at any step. So it is depending on what feels doable for you. And you can start to try to loosen the bond even as you're in the relationship. And that's what I did. So I wasn't aware that I was loosening the trauma bond, but I was doing it, well, in order to survive sort of in that environment. I couldn't continue to, like after we had 2 children, I realized that I can't continue to be a mother to them and be involved in these dramatic fights and I couldn't do it. So, and I even said to him that we have to find another way to fight. I thought that the problem is that we get into these dramatic fights and we misunderstand each other. And I thought that I had abandonment anxiety and he had anger management issues. So that was a really bad combination. And I understood that, I thought that in order for the fights not to escalate, I have to, when he gets angry and starts to withdraw from me, I have to let him do that. So I can't continue to, I want to talk about it and what's wrong and forgive me. Don't go out. Don't leave me, because that will make it worse. So I thought that if I work on my side, then there will be no fights. And so I was actually working on loosening the bond as I was doing this, but in my mind, I was trying to make our relationship better. Okay, so to break the trauma bond, step 1. Let's see. No, if I do this, do you see it as a mirror? Do you see it mirror turned? Can you read the text? Let's see. I will see if I can. Mirror my camera. Oh, let's see. Now, yes. Now you can read it, right? Oh, can you read it now? Now I mirrored it. Is it okay now? Or yes, say if I should change it back. Or let's see. I think you would be able to read it. So name it. You like if you understand that you are trauma bonded, and a lot of your reactions and your feelings is caused by that trauma bond. That's very helpful. So name it and understand what it is and what is creating it. Because then when they start to withdraw and you get that anxiety feeling, then you will know that, yes, it's because of that trauma bond I get anxious. But in reality, everything is fine. I don't have to be anxious. I've done nothing wrong. And this is that's the remaining of the damage that has been done from the abuse and the trauma bond. Observe is number 2. So, and this is it takes for you to be able to do number 2, you have to detach a little bit. So if you get really worked up in the argument, like if you get really emotional, very, very anxious or crying, or then you won't be able to, you go fully up into that emotion and you won't be able to observe what is going on. But let's see, Sharon writes, I have been out and free for decades now. Brave ladies, it can be done. Oh, thank you, Sharon, for decades. Yeah, that's hopeful. Thank you. And if you have some other tips, feel free to write them. There are people who need it. Okay, so start to observe what is going on. And it is very, very hard to change a behavior. And especially, as I said, I would get very upset, and then I would try to apologize and tell, my ex-husband would want to storm out of the door, and I would want him to stay. So even when I knew that I was doing that, it was very hard to stop myself. But just being able to observe it, like when you see yourself doing illogical things, or you're doing things that you're having feelings, you're interacting, like looking at yourself, but also looking at them. So how are they behaving? What are they saying? What are they doing? And try to see it like a bit non-attached. Like if they're saying something nasty to you, and you immediately react to it and get angry or sad, then you're drawn into that emotion, so you won't be able to observe it. But when you try to detach a bit and realize that this is a they problem, they are going through that abusive cycle, they are shifting their behavior to try to get a reaction from you. And when you don't give them that reaction, they are escalating. So when you realize that, then you can slowly begin to detach a bit. So, for example, Blue Knit, if you're talking to your father and he is doing things that is like they're causing you to feel difficult feelings, anxiety, or they're causing you to want to react. He's saying something and then you want, he's expecting you to help him with something and you don't really want that, but you're feeling really obliged to do that. So just starting to observe those dynamics and what he is saying, like what buttons he's pushing, and how you are reacting. That's a good step. So then you have a name for it, and then you start to observe and you start to detach a bit. you try to almost, like when you realize that much of what they are doing is calculating. So I used to think that, well, my ex-husband, he gets out of control. He doesn't know what he's saying, and but they are actually they are watching you, and they are doing things that they know that you will react to. So they were looking for a reaction. Much of what they are doing is they are saying things that it may not really be what they are thinking, but they are saying it in order to hurt you or to get you to feel guilty. And when you realize that, so that means that they are not truthful, and what you're saying is not the truth, and it's not they don't even their words will have less meaning. So slowly detach from them, slowly start to feel less for them, and then some sort of boundaries. So when they are using these techniques on you, they are manipulating you, they are hurting you, then you want to start to put in some boundaries to protect yourself. So it can be, let's say on the phone, because Blunit has this problem with her father on the phone. When the call starts to take a turn for it starts to not feel good, or he's trying to guilt you, let's say, you can have a boundary. For example, a boundary is always something that you have around yourself. So it really has nothing to do with them. The boundary is not to say that you can never say this to me, for example. That's not the boundary. And the other person doesn't even have to know that you have a boundary. It's something that you decide. So, for example, if they are they want you to give a response right away. They're on they want you to promise, or they want you to give an answer right away on the phone. You can have a boundary that says that you never do that. So if he asks you for can you come over tonight? Can you help me fix this thing? Or they want you to commit to something. You can have you can decide that I will never do that. I will always say that I have to check my schedule. I'll get back to you later, for example. Or you can have a boundary that you decide that I will only talk for example, if you're in long conversations, or if he's calling whenever he wants, you can decide that I'm not picking up the phone right away. I will only speak with him after dinner, for example, when everything is calm. And then if he calls another time, then you don't answer, or you wait a bit, and then you text back that can't talk, but I'll call you after dinner. So that's a boundary around yourself. So I can tell you this story. Sorry, just have to take some water. When I talk a lot, I get dry mouth. So I recently had a patient. It was a female, and she had difficulties because the difficulty was that she was not feeling well, and she wanted me to send her to it's a rehab center. And it's quite expensive for the state to send people there. But she went there once, and it felt amazing. But we talked a bit more, and I asked her, so why do you want to go there? And it turned out that being in her own home feels so uncomfortable, because there are so many people who are expecting her to be there for them, or doing things, or they are contacting her. We're now talking about her relatives. So they're contacting her all the time. But when she went to the center, then she was feeling so at peace because they weren't able to contact her. So she wasn't going there for the rehab. She was going there to get away from her family. And we talked a bit about this. So I tried to encourage her that you have to have some protection around. Like if you are going to that center, they can't contact you and it feels good. But you can also put in some boundaries around yourself, like in your home, for example. You don't have to answer the phone exactly when they call, or you don't have to go over immediately to help them. And that is something that you can decide for yourself, and you don't have to tell them that that's what you're doing. Don't do that. But just slowly start to put in some boundaries that will make it feel better for you. And if you think that, well, being in contact on the phone every day is too much, you can slowly decrease that. And you don't have to say it, like you can blame something else. Say that, well, I'm so busy with my studies, or I'm so tired today, I can't talk today, let's talk tomorrow. And then like slowly you get them used to you, like you not being that available. Okay, so we're still on number 3 there, boundaries. When I lived with my ex-husband, I started to put in boundaries. And so when he would get like, and this was something that it was very hard, and it took me long time, like years to perfect it. But if he would start to insult me or get very angry, or then I would either like leave the room myself, or I would say to him that he needed to leave the whole, like you need to go out and take a walk, and then you can come back when you're calm. So I stopped talking with him. I stopped arguing with him, and I told him, yes, I love you, but I don't want us to argue. So we can talk when you're calm, or like I don't have the energy to argue. So let's talk when you're calm. And that was really helpful, because before this, I didn't have any boundaries. So I was sort of at the mercy of the people, like people close to me, if they would treat me badly or cause a scene. Like I didn't have that. I did not have boundaries around myself. So I would not have that ability to go away from an argument. I would like be very emotionally affected by it. And that was something I had to learn. And it was a lot of trial and error. So I decided that next time I won't stay and argue. But next time came, and I did stay and argue. But eventually, like after half an hour, I was able to like go away from that, like leave the room, or and then I would say, well, at least that was a real struggle to do that. But and it's depending on where you are. So it takes time to put in those boundaries, and it's okay if you like are not able to do it. Just that you are, like when you are noticing that this is where, like sometimes you don't see it until afterwards. Oh, this is the point where I should have used my new boundary. Like I should have said that I really need to, like I really need to hang up. I can't talk, or I need to leave the room. But when you get those into place, it feels so good to have, like to be able to protect yourself, like to be able to protect your peace. So they no longer have full power over you when you do that. And all of these steps, like no matter which one you work on, that is helping you to be less exposed to this abusive cycle, and those really strong feelings of anxiety or relief, like they start to dim, and the trauma bond is dimmed. So boundaries, and then like decrease contact. So perhaps they're a bit connected, but try to not be in contact every day. And they don't, as I said, they don't have to know that you are planning to decrease contact with them. That will provoke them, and then then they will try to like they don't want you to do that, but blame something else, or make the calls a bit shorter and do it slowly. So and then nurture yourself is number 5. So we get so tuned into them, and we let them control our feelings and our moods, and so we need to take that power back. And even if they are in a bad mood, we can try to make ourselves feel a bit better. I had this thing. There was a female in my family that, well, I don't know if she was. I don't know if I was trauma bonded to her, but it's the same feelings when you are used to reacting like this when someone causes an argument. I would get very affected when she would call me. So, and even if I didn't answer, I would get very, very anxious if I saw her texts on my screen on the phone. So I started to do this thing, like when I saw the texts, I would not respond, but I was be really anxious and like think about what she had written, because there was always some drama, some conflict, and not with me. It had to do with other people, but there was this expectation that I should pick up, and I should like comfort her, and I should be on her side, or sometimes she was angry with me. So I tried to decrease the contact, like the phone contact, and I gradually increased the time before I responded to the texts. And I was blaming just being busy with my kids. But then when I got that anxious feeling, so I got really upset and anxious when I saw the texts, I would go and take a bath if I could, or like do something that felt good to calm myself down. And I think it's very important, like as we're healing, we find these things that we like to do. Take a walk, like do something else for a while, so that you're not so in tuned into them. They can have a rage, like they can freak out, but you don't have to do that. They don't get to control your mood anymore. So that's like also a step that you can work on. Let's see, we've gone through them all 5. So understand, number 1, let's see. Number 1, understand that it's a trauma bond. Observe what is going on, and try to get some distance, disconnect a bit emotionally. Try to put in some boundaries to protect your peace, and decrease contact slowly. Or sometimes you have to do it like if you're, with my ex-husband, I tried to go like immediately low contact after the separation. So I didn't talk to him on the phone to protect myself, and nurture yourself. So try to find ways to feel good without them. They are not the only source of your feel good. You don't need to make them happy to then feel good. You can feel good yourself. Okay. So, yeah. Yes, one more thing I wanted to share. I've noticed this pattern in like when you watch some movies, or sometimes in novels. And I think it's like it's the trauma. I just well, it's like the dream trauma bond dream. That eventually he will see all your sacrifice, and they will understand how much you love them and how much you've done for them, and then you will get rewarded for it. So eventually your relationship will be fine. Eventually they will get it. They will see what they are doing. They will have a "my name is Earl" moment and try to make everything up for you, to you. So there is, even though I think I've broken the trauma bond, and I faced my ex-husband in court 2 weeks ago and did not feel any of those feelings at all. I felt quite strong, and I felt like I was free of him when I saw him, that was a great victory for me. But sometimes when I'm when I'm watching something and there is this moment where, like, a woman is really, like, she's sacrificing a lot for a guy, and then there is this moment where they have, like, he looks into her eyes and touches her cheek, and then they and they have this moment of understanding. That's fake. If the guy is abusive, then if the other person is abusing and getting you trauma bonded by this ups and downs, mixing their abuse up with some breadcrumbs, they will not, like, that won't happen. They won't see what they're doing and suddenly have a light bulb moment. They know what they're doing, and they will continue to do it. So you are the one who have to move away and start to loosen that bond. And it takes time to break it. I think that, like, educating yourself and understanding what you went through, and start, like, I think that healing from narcissistic abuse and healing the trauma bond is important. And I know that many of us are turning to YouTube to try to find information and to get understanding. That's good. I mean, I'm on YouTube, and I am following some other creators as well. The ones that I'm following now are all survivors themselves, actually, because I think there is a trap there when you get really into theory. It feels like, yes, in a way it's good to understand, and we need to have the terms to be able to talk to each other. But there is a trap when you just start to dig deeper and deeper and think about the narcissist. Why did they do this? And was he really covert, or was he switching, or was he going through a collapse and things like that? When you're thinking, you're still in his mind, just like when, like, you are not yet broken the bond. You're still trauma bonded. You're still trying to analyze everything that he's saying. Like a bit of that is needed, perhaps. And I did that a lot, but eventually you come to an understanding of what they were, and it's not that complicated. You don't need all the theories to understand what they were doing. When you understand something, it's good to apply it to yourself and your situation. So if you get some insight and understanding, oh, that was what happened, you can, like, apply it to your situation. And but also, like, you want to move forward. You don't want to stay stuck only like working. the purpose is not to work through that relationship and just continue to look through it like navel gazing in the relationship. You also need to heal and to move forward. So in order to do that, yes, you need to understand what happened perhaps, but you also need to like take the next little step. Like we're doing now, we're going to the trauma bond, and that's good, like understanding what happened and also understanding the steps. These are the steps that I used. So I don't know if any of you are like have broken the trauma bond or have loosened it, or if anyone else has some advice or some questions, because I've sort of gone through what I was planning to talk about today. But the chat is open if you want to write something, or did it help you? Did you understand it better? Is there a step that you can start to work on? I don't know if you're still here, Blunit, but do you think that you could decrease the... Sharon says, they are the bully in the schoolyard, basically. Yes, but you have brought them into your home. Yeah. I did feel like I was being bullied in the end, especially in the end of the relationship. I was being bullied daily, so it was horrible. But you broke the bond, Sharon. How did you do it? Was it just no contact and time healed it, or? Was there a lot of work involved? Or is it, let's see. Sharon says, I had to get an injunction. Injunction. I don't know what that means. Injunction. So, yeah. Oh, it's like a restraining order. So you had to get a restraining order for that person to stay away from you. Yes. Sometimes we have to do that. I also had to get a restraining order for my ex-husband because he was stalking me. That can be, that's an option. I didn't I didn't think that I would have to do something like that when I separated, but yes, it came to that point. It became very scary and dangerous. So sometimes we need outside help to set those boundaries and to go no contact. So, okay, are there any questions? Did you get some clarity or something that you're wondering about? Is this a good time for you? I was planning to continue the live streams on this time. It's a bit, I think it's good for a lot of you, like, or at least acceptable if you're in the US. It's hard for me to do the live streams later, at least on weekdays. So because we're 6 hours before you, or if you're on the east coast of the US, you're 6 hours after us. So right now it's like midnight here in Sweden. So sing that song. Thank you for sharing, so helpful. Oh, you're so welcome. Thank you for being here. And as I mentioned in the beginning, I do have a video on my channel that is going through the trauma bond and how to break it, where I'm also talking about these 5 steps. If you want to watch that, it's a bit like shorter, denser. It's 20 minutes long. I will link it in the description for this live afterwards. Okay, but then I will end this live, and next week we will talk about is like if you have children with a narcissist, should you stay or leave? What is best for the kids? So that's the topic for the next live. And you like if you have ideas or suggestions or questions, you will always find me in the comments. I do answer, although there has been an issue, at least with one subscriber, that I can't see her comments, and I don't get notified. I have to go up, click up the video, and then suddenly I see that, oh, there was a comment here I haven't seen. So if that happens to you, that I don't answer, it's not on purpose. So I try to answer. And I do like questions or suggestions. The point of this is to try to build something for survivors to come together and help each other, and we can support each other. Okay, so I will end the live stream, I think. Have a nice evening, everyone. And okay, okay, bye.